projects are how we at Harvard bring change to the IT environment for Harvard.
Our work is impossible without the IT department. We're just total partners. We rely on technology to perform our services to the university.
I probably rely on project managers more than most, and I say that because a key part of my role is managing all the enterprise and FAS-specific system and policy initiatives. So I really count on them to understand our priorities, our bandwidth, because we're working with them on so many things.
We do many projects here because we are trying to always be the leader in higher education. We want to keep changing and evolving, and so projects are a very important part of that.
I manage the IT service desk team, and therefore there are many different IT projects going on at once. But the one that we are working on right now that impacts the community as well as my team directly is the email project. The impact is huge, as it's going to be for the entire organization.
Probably the best example of that in the last 5 to 6 years is the Mass Screen High Performance Computing Center, where I was the project manager for the Harvard side. So this was a multi-stakeholder Harvard, MIT, BU, Northeastern UMass, plus the state of Massachusetts, building a $90 million data center for research in high-performance computing out in Holyoke, Mass, in the western part of the state.
Projects are a critical part of what we do every day, so HBS is never standing still. Like the rest of Harvard University, we're always moving forward, always getting better every day. And a really big part of that is how well we manage projects. We effectively bring all together the people that need to manage a project and implement that change all the way through from an initial vision all the way through to completion.
Knowing project management when you're not a project manager is very important because inevitably you will be on a project. Most of the things that happen in Hewitt, for example, involve change. We keep having to evolve our services. We keep having to improve the technology that we use, and that's generally done through projects. So while you may not be a project manager, you're going to be on one.
So I actually view the sort of 2 key dimensions of being a project manager are around setting expectations and communicating, and being an early warning system. Those are, if I had to boil project management down to 2 things, those are the 2 things you need to be successful at to be a good project manager.
One of the most important things to think about before you start a project is really do task mapping. Identifying what task needs to be done, who can perform that task, so that you have the proper people on your team to make sure your project gets executed effectively.
A really good project manager is not only organized, that's a really important skill. They're not only technologically sophisticated, and they're not only understanding of our business, but they really need to be able to say, okay, here are the action items for the next time that we come together. This is your responsibility, your responsibility, and to be able to keep us accountable to that.
Oftentimes when you come into Harvard, there are problems or business issues that seem so obvious in how you would solve them. If there were low-hanging fruit, not only has it been picked, it's been baked and it's been eaten at the dinner table. If it were easy, it's done. If it's difficult, we've probably been trying to figure out an approach that'll work not only for an entire school, but for the entire university.
An easy pitfall to fall into is not managing risk. Early in your career, you're so focused on the timeline and the schedule and the budget, and that seems so consuming. You forget to do one of the fundamental things, which is actually to start the project with a list of what do you think all the risks are for the project. And the idea here is to really be methodical about making a long list and having a plan of when it happens, what am I going to do? And then sharing that list with your stakeholders.
You hear a lot about one university, but I think to pull off some of these enterprise initiatives, people really do have to think about the relationships to each other differently.
So relationships are really the key to a project manager's success in many ways, because it is all through relationships that everything happens on a project in IT. IT isn't like we can just flip a switch and things happen. It's all through people, and therefore it's all through relationships.
You can't just be a project manager because you're an organized person. It really makes a difference, and this course I think will really make a difference to have some skills, some tools and techniques and training, and ultimately some experience so you recognize red flags when they arise. And I think project managers are both born and made.